So underway now, the final event of this wonderful program here at the Box Hill Burn, and it is the F race for the 5,000 metres. Johnny Marr from Box Hill, what a legend Johnny is, and he's actually a decade back from Daniel Hopkins. So John F. Kennedy was the president when Johnny was born. Anyway, Tyler Demboa is into, also from Richmond Harriers, we've got Joji Morey. Stephen Pate is in Station 4. Andy Catchlove in 5. In 6, we have Charles Mayfield from Chilwell. Sorry, that's 7. In 8, Tristan Mione from St Kevin's. Noah Stars in 9. Jackson Lynch from Deakin is in 10. Liam Stocky from Oldseverians in 11. Cameron Lee, Melbourne Uni in 12. Joss Ledger, Albury in 13. Tobias Lawrence for VCCL's in 15. Alexander Fian is in 16. Corey Harrop from Melbourne Uni in 17. Alistair O'Brien Knox in 18. Josh Doherty from Melbourne Uni 19. Lachlan Fulton from Mentone in 20. In 23, Patrick Nichols from Melbourne University. Alex Bessel is in 25 and Long Nguyen is in 26. So the pace on the green lights is 16 minutes. Mitch? 16 minutes.
Get the green. Oh, I need to
get the green. I think that's about 80-second laps, is it? Thereabouts?
I'll take
it
your
must
math,
be, because they've just gone through in around 80 seconds.
Yeah, I'll take your math. I'm not going to try and pretend that I could figure that one out on the fly, but it's, you know, you stay in that green, you're in a good zone. So I'm trying to keep the microphone away from my mouth. Don't want to give out any noise complaints here this evening. So I'm going to try and keep it as far away as possible. But this crew out here, moving along quite nicely. It's impressive to see so many ride in and amongst that pacing ideal location. Oldseverians out in front here, and that is Liam Stocky, I believe. So he's got a big group behind him there, call it 6, probably another 7 leading behind there, and it's pretty well fractured, so they'll sort themselves out into the appropriate pacing groups as they make their way through the early stages of the 5,000.
Yeah, probably as expected in our last race of the night, there probably might be more variation across the paces than in some of the earlier events. But as we're seeing, a few good packs are starting to form already, and they're trying to work their way through, knowing that that green light is the 16-minute mark, and a lot of these guys would love to have a 15 as their first digit for the 5,000 metres. So the crowd thinning a little bit, but what a great night it's been here, debuting these lights here at Box Hill, and it has been an Australian first, and what a sensational asset it is for the Box Hill Club. And as the light went down, Mitch, it became more and more evident how wonderful these lights are.
Oh, without a doubt, they're going to make a huge difference. I mean, obviously, they do and they did tonight, but you think about the amount of events that get run out here at Box Hill and the amount of Australian records, world records, Olympic qualifiers, Paralympic qualifiers that you see. Having technology like this available is truly remarkable, and at a suburban track as well, it must be said, is quite impressive. So big shout out to Box Hill and Jeremy and everybody on that committee, and Peter for installing them as well, it must be said. So yeah, there he is down there, great Peter. Give him a round of applause for installing these lights with the rest of his crew. So no, it's
big raps, Peter Stefanos. So we're seeing a few of the runners come through. I think Doherty was up there early. Also we had Noah Star, I think. Just watching that pack in chase there, including Johnny Marr, that is setting off on a really nice steady pace at the moment. But we're seeing a good group sitting right on that 16-minute mark with Stocky out front. I think it's Doherty from Melbourne University in second position. They're in the blue at the moment. And then we've got 3 in the green and 2 in the red. But this is a rare occasion where being in the red isn't a problem, because they're just about on the pace target time. So the chasers, this is actually, for this race, this is good to have so many running together, and you can just see them moving along very nicely. No stragglers in the early stages here, as they've been through kilometre 1 and they're heading towards kilometre number 2.
So kilometre number 2, still very early in this 12.5 lap race, ahead of the paces. I'm a stickler for the lights now, so they're just ahead of it here. Bradley Hall, I think, maybe doing some pace work here as well. Behind him there, Noah Starr. So you're right, Rocket, we might have one in there who's on the pacing duties, but he's doing a phenomenal job of being able to string them through here at the same time as well. Look at this big group. They are boxing on here in the back part of this men's F5000, all just trying to jostle for a position, moving out into lane number 2. Almost could have caught a high five on the way through there, that willing to move out to try and find a spot, but finding themselves at least chugging along at a reasonable clip as this group out in front continues to fracture, Tim. They're just getting faster and faster in the early stages.
Yeah, they're just moving along quite nicely. So even the guys in the red lights at the moment still going well. Great move there by Alexander Feehan to take control of that next group, and he's starting to push them forward. And it's nice that as they go into each straight, they can just see that group ahead of them. And I think for Feehan, that's going to be really good just to target in on that next group up forward.
So we'll get a good read of just how fast they're going as they make their way through here. But I'm really entranced by the number of people in this secondary pack. The group out in front, as I said, they're quite separate. They're not really on each other's shoulders. They're being able to give each other as much room as they need. Stocky's still out in front. Behind there is Doherty, leading them out there, the pacemaker from Star. And right behind him on his shoulder is Mayfield. So even Mayfield to Star isn't really sitting on his shoulder, although now he decides to move around, so he will here. But Tim, this is the interesting one, I reckon, back here. Feehan leading it out there, that's Alexander Feehan. Johnny Marr towards the back tail of it, and as we mentioned, Cameron Lee as well from Melbourne Uni. He's just off the back of it all. So he's the only one to be lost here at the moment in that second group. The rest of them still moving through quite nicely.
Yeah, so a bit of a gap starting to form now between... 5 and 6 and 7. But they're just starting to drop away from the red light. Feehan driving them forward nicely. Interesting one, Feehan. Got questionable coaching behind him, but let's see if he can overcome that tonight and get a good performance. But Liam Stocky, pretty impressive, isn't it, at the moment, Mitch? Just doing his own thing, just sitting on those lights and just maintaining really good rhythm and good form.
Yeah, it looks really still too, doesn't he? It doesn't look like he's exerting himself or really having to apply too much pressure to his body this early in order to be able to be in front of what the pacing lighting's at, which is that 16-minute marker, I believe. So he's doing a really good job. So too the pacemaker Hall trying to lead through his training partner. I'm going to guess that's Noah Star. And they're doing their best to try and get on a Stocky who now just finds himself out here by himself. Every man is in this pack, it feels like, at the moment. Right in the middle of it is Jackson Lynch there from Deakin. So they've travelled far and wide in order to run a fast 5K here this evening, and you'll find the majority of this race right in that pack there, Tim.
Yeah. So Alex Bessel's alongside Feehan at the moment. He's a taller figure.
Hey, Ty, are we able to get going, mate? Yeah, I'm good to go. All right. 3 more seconds. Right back. Yeah.
So Stocky still leading the way. He's in the blue. Hall sitting in the green as a pace job. We then have Doherty, also Star. So Tobias Lawrence just coming through now. He's got a 16:35 time, so probably in and around that mark at the moment. So good to see the cheer squads really working their stuff from the sidelines. It does mean a lot to the runners. So Alex Bessel getting quite a hurry on from his cheer group behind us here. He once raced Jack Rayner, apparently.
Beat Jack Rayner.
Beat Jack Rayner.
Yep. Yep. So the big, tall, lanky, galloping figure at the front of the second pack has dusted Jack Rayner, ladies and gentlemen, just to keep that in perspective. So, you know, the careers haven't panned out too differently, which is incredibly exciting. But out in front, Stuckey still leading it. He is well ahead of this next group who are chasing, it must be said. But he's been impressive nonetheless, Tim. Still lives in the blue. Beat the blue, the mantra of this evening. Stuckey right in it there. So ahead of the pacing of 16 minutes is what they've requested. This group now working together quite well in tandem. Doherty it is now. In fact, moving around his outside shoulder, Noah Star is going to try and make the most of this pacing. Harrop as well there now, moves along past me. Inside of the shoulder there, Lawrence. as now we see this second pack. We've mentioned him a few times, maybe given him a few too many backhanders, it must be said, but moves around Bessel now, does the man from Melbourne Uni. Bessel on that inside rail. He's starting to get revved up, looks on his outside shoulder, doesn't want to be passed too much here, but he keeps himself on the inside nonetheless, Tim. So impressive racing in this second pack, but the man out in front, he is in a pursuit of time.
Well, probably even more impressive, this is the final race of the night, and all of the field were through 3K in 10:10 or under. That's pretty impressive.
So it goes to show the depth of, well, we still call it middle distance 5K, however you want to lean towards it, but shows the depth of what we've got here in Australia at the moment. Run clubs are at an all-time high. Everybody seems to be exercising, which is great. We're seeing it out on the track here this evening. So Stuckey out in front from Old Bavarians. He's just slipping into the middle parts now of this green light. So just think colour here at the moment, young man. He's looking good as he pursues the sub-16. Trying to get pace through here as well. He's had the benefit of his training partner, Noah Starr. Just needs to sit right on it. These two now will work together as well. Mayfield it is on his outside shoulder, Tim. So they'll try and get up the track as this second pack begins to separate.
So Corey Harrop coming through. He's got 4 laps to go. The metric mile there for Harrop. Tobias Lawrence in next position. This next pack still working well together, and they're really changing that lead around. I think Fulton's now taking the lead in the pack there. Also up there is Patrick Nichols. Joji Morey's got the traditional yellow headband. He always looks fantastic in that headband, Mitch. I reckon you should try it one day. Johnny Marr coming through, 4 laps to go.
Yeah, don't have the hair for it, Tim. I wish I did. Maybe one day if I don't get impatient and actually let my hair grow, we might be able to do something special like that. The Stuckinator now, he's starting to fall off the back of the green colouring. So he's in the red. He's in the red zone. He's been impressive.
Do your stuff. You got to work your magic, Mitch.
Well, I mean, I think he's capable. He's been ultimately impressive over the middle stages of this 5K. He's going to have 1,200 to go as he comes down to the start-finish line. But he's got 2 pursuing behind, which actually might make it better for him if they can get there. Noah Starr, he's been able to sit off the back of his training partner. Stuckey now, though, he's still out in front. Seems to be smiling, so maybe he's got a little bit of something in his back pocket if he can use it. Starr it is, though. He's in the pursuit. I'm not sure when the pacemaker steps off, Tim, but he's doing a great job in being able to bring him back to the front of the race.
Yeah, Mayfield's then in next position, and then Doherty, his teammate Harrop from Melbourne Uni next, and now we're seeing Morey work into the next slot. So Joji Morey, he's lifting the intensity here as well, and that is Fulton going with him. Good running there also from Andy Catchglove. He's got a 17-minute time to his name, and I think he's probably ahead of that schedule. O'Brien now coming through, representing the Knox Club. And I think Brad Hall's the pacer. He's sitting in that second slot, so let's not get too confused with his positioning, but he's trying to bring Starr up to Stocky. Stocky's done such a good job out front. As we can see, the lights is now starting to escape him, Mitch, but we've got to just try and get behind the young man from Old Bavarians as he comes down to get 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I've got to give up on my pursuit of the lights here this evening. I think they're distracting me. Stocky now, he's just got to get through this next 400 metres. As you said, Hall trying to bring up Starr the best he can. He's even separated himself a little bit from his training partner here, so it can get confusing watching on, but he's only a matter of metres behind the early race leader. These two moving through well. Doherty now starting to get gapped a little bit ahead of him. Got a good pack of 3 moving through here. As you mentioned, the beautiful yellow headband is Morey. The rest of this crew now starting to move. Bessel on the back of this pack here is the big man from Tasmania. He wants to try and get up there a little bit further if he can. Can't miss him. Head and shoulders tallest in the field is Bessel. And now they make their way through here. Johnny Marr, one of the Box Hill staples, is about to come through the start-finish line. But Stocky, back straight, Tim, continues to find a little bit more pace.
Yeah, well, this could be a nice, interesting finish, though, because Hall's now alongside Starr, but Stocky, I think, has probably got too much as they go through 600 or less than 600 metres now to go. The green light obviously escaping, but in Stocky just holding on nicely. Starr lifts again, though. It's not over yet, so 500 metres still to go. It's half a kilometre, and it will be Liam Stocky leading them through for the second last time, and he will hear the sound of the bell first, but Starr is just trying to get the cadence up now. Hall just right next to him. So this is all starting to happen.
Stocky, he's out in front. You can see Bradley Hall saying, come on, it's time to go, got to grit your teeth, and he's right. This is the moment where you have to pick what type of racer you're going to be. Mayfield leading it out here now, further ahead from Doherty. Moving through with a lot of pace is Maury. Tim, he's always good over the back stages of this, as now the rest of them make their way through. In front of Bessel here is Monk, and now Bessel's going to go up it. 15, 18 on the clock as this middle section makes their way through, Tim. They're all going to be well and truly around that 1640, maybe even faster marker in this part. But out in front, Stocky, hasn't he found another gear when he needed to? In the closing stages of this, the final race of the evening, the men's F 5,000 metres. I think it's going to go the way of the old Zavarians. I think Stocky will have done enough, but Long trying to chase the two behind him as well in pursuit of a fast time. But I have a feeling Stocky, with 150 to go, he should be able to hold on. He should be able to win.
So he's going to be rewarded with the win here, Liam Stocky. Star's trying to lift again. He's got Mayfield in pursuit. And we're also seeing, I think that might be Doherty making a charge into the home straight. But let's give this young man a really good round of applause. I think he's a 19-year-old, and it will be Liam Stocky from Old Zavarians. He will take the win here. It's going to be an impressive time for Stocky. 16:14, unofficial. Star will come through for second, under 16:20. So too, and Mayfield right on the 16:20 mark. Big finish there from Joji Maury. Fulton in next position. Bessel will make the cheer squad happy. Next one through there was the Albury runner in Ledger, Mione from the St Kevin's Club. Then Lynch. Next one in there was Catch Love. Couldn't quite catch them as they came through, but long win in the Glen Huntley strip. Then we have Den Boa, next position. Lawrence through. Also, in the Melbourne University strip, Cameron Lee, Johnny Marr, good on you, Johnny. Another 17 minutes on the clock there for the 60-year-old. And it will be O'Brien coming through to complete the field and complete the evening. So once again, big thank you to the Box Hill Athletic Club for putting on a stellar